Welcome back and thank you for staying with KTN Prime. As hinted a little bit earlier, we still have SG Jeremiah Kioni in studio. He's the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party and a high-ranking member of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. SG, thanks for your patience. Let's continue with the deliberations. And it's proper to start with what your party is doing, because it seems you're getting your house in order ahead of the 2027 general election. Not too long ago, the party endorsed the former CS Fred Matiang'i as its presidential candidate. Some say it's a little bit too soon. But does this mean that the efforts to put in place one opposition coalition are futile? It seems you might be charting your own path as Jubilee.
No, one is that it's true that we are trying to get our house in order. You know, for almost 2 years, we had some unnecessary quarrels, and that ended up in the courts. But finally, we've gotten the judgment, and the party is in good hands with the party leader and the other office bearers, including myself. The thing is, what we are now doing is going to the members so that we can open offices, rejuvenate the party, member recruitment drives, and we are doing it on a county-to-county basis, perhaps sometimes constituency to constituency, whatever the strategy that we are going to have on the table. And it is during some of those movements that people themselves said, we also need a presidential candidate ourselves in the party so that we can best, I think parties are easier to mobilize when they have a presidential candidate. And having a presidential candidate in a party does not mean that you have excluded others in the coalition. No.
Okay.
It is the names that they mentioned, and they have mentioned when we were in Gilgil, Narok, Nakuru, and they have mentioned everybody's name. As people, as the individuals, they want to come together. They have mentioned Natebea, they have mentioned Karonzo, they mentioned Wamarua, they mentioned this man called, Wamunyoro, Ligiji. They have mentioned Matiang'i.
Yes.
All these, they have mentioned Omtata. And this is a team of, they also are aware that Mother is running. So they are saying that they want to see all these people come together, forge a united opposition front, that then he agrees on eventually who is their flag bearer, so that then they can back one person. In fact, as even this afternoon, I had people in my office who said, how I wish you people will eventually end up with one person. We want two debes. Moja ya huyu na mwingine ya huyu. Then we can move. So the name of Matiang'i is also thrown in the mix.
Okay.
You have Wiper coming, Karonzo coming through the door of Wiper. Wamarua through the DAPK, Natebea, Umtata, some Ligaiji is still identifying a vehicle. I hope we can also
get to that
get there. We can also get there.
Yeah.
So these are all people, and every party, you now realize that every party will of course want to unapigia kegele mtu ambaye ni wako zaidi kuliko wale wengine.
So
hapo pia inakuwa changamoto. But the important thing is that we would want all these people in one room, because again, like I said earlier, the way into the future in this country are coalitions. You will always have a majority and a minority, and until we amend our constitution, coalitions are going to be the way to manage the affairs of this country. None alone.
But some say your interests might not align. At the end of the day, everyone is pushing.
That is a very interesting phase, because at that point, there is a lot of negotiations that are done.
Okay.
The amount of negotiation and time that went into Azimio was so much that it actually even delayed our ability to organize for the final day. And that contributed to our, not so good performance.
Okay.
And any good performance is the one that wins. So when the names are thrown around at this early time, it's not because of anything else. It's so that people have time to organize, time to sit, time to negotiate with one another, to understand one another, for the Kenyans themselves also to have an opportunity to say which direction do they want to say. Eventually, it's the Kenyans who will actually decide.
All right.
Even when you say this is a coalition building exercise, you don't go to build a coalition and leave Kenyans out of it. They will have a say. They are the ones who will also help you decide as to who eventually emerges the winner, or not the winner, the person who sits at the head of the table. And it's who is it that then shares the meeting of the others.
Yeah.
That will be decided by Kenyans, and we cannot wish that away. In fact, it will be naive of us. It will be foolhardy for us to think that we can form a coalition of leaders and then Kenyans will just follow. No, no, no. It is Kenyans themselves to throw the leaders in and also to tell us we tumeweka hapo na mufikirie sana. You know the way they do this.
Kabisa.
One of the things, the way they do it sometimes, they may never tell you na mnafanya hii. Lakini mkienda kwa mkutano, wanapiga makofi. Tunaenda na wewe unaona vile uko fiti. Unaona wanapiga makofi wanakupigia kidogo. That's the language they use.
Okay.
Yes.
That's noted. And when you're building coalitions, you build with like-minded individuals.
Yes.
Does this rule out the former DP Rigathi Gachagua? Because we have to talk about the restive Mount Kenya region. He said he'll launch his political party in May this year. Are you open to work with Rigathi Gachagua?
We started by inviting him to our party, Jubilee. At a given point, we actually thought that he was joining Jubilee. I haven't heard him say that he's not joining Jubilee. It's only the other day that I think, but I haven't heard him saying that he's forming a political party. If that is what he has said, then it means that maybe he would want to come to us with his own political party. Maybe he may want to use a political party to do something else. It's something that we need to wait and see. But our desire is to have everybody around the same table. And why? Because Kenyans have decided a couple of things. One, they are not happy with the current regime. If you ask Kenyans, they want a change. So that is a decision made by Kenyans, not by leaders. And none of us should pretend that is the one making them go that direction. Wenyewe wameamua. So if you really have heard them, you've listened to them, the only logical thing to do is to join others in giving an alternative. Because they're also saying, wewe peke yako utatupotezea wakati. And we do not want to gabble with you. So if you are not joining the others, then you are part of the people you want to remove.
But you know, Ruto won't be sitting watching you guys
without doubt.
He'll divide and conquer.
Well, and in dividing and conquer, it is what we must be very careful, because could it be that he helps you to form a party to divide and conquer? You know, so whatever each one of us is doing, you must remain respectful of the wishes of the people. And you must be driven more by the desire, the decisions people have made. Of course, you need to give them leadership, but you have to listen to the people. They are saying, we want a change. And even those in government have had it. And that is why they are now moving around trying to justify their cause, which is also normal in the kind of politics that you are in.
Yeah.
And they are also saying, hatutaki watu 100 kwa debe. I'm telling you this afternoon, I was told by people who came to my office, tunataka debe 2. Nyinyi mwanze kufikiria. Debe moja tunaijua ni wale wako serikalini sahi. Hiyo ingine ni moja yenyu. Mujipange. So these are the challenges, and this is the thing. Every one of us, every one of them, and especially those who have declared their interest and the higher office.
All right.
They will have to show respect to Kenyans by agreeing. Sometimes you have to, swallow your pride. Otherwise, you look like the spoiler, and you look like the person who may have been sent by the other side to just come and sit on our side to ensure that we lose, and we don't want to lose again.
And in Kenyan politics, perception is almost everything. Optics. So let's talk about Raila's AUC bid and the political ramifications. For years, Raila Odinga has been prominently featured in Kenya's political discourse. Some say there might be political offense if he gets the AUC chair position come Saturday in a case in which he wins. But looking at the crystal ball from where you sit, what do you foresee in either eventuality?
One is that on behalf of myself, my family, and on behalf of the Jubilee fraternity, we want to wish him well, and we want to wish him success at the AUC.
Okay.
And he has worked hard, like he always does when he focuses on something. I watched the debate. He certainly came out better. Others may have said he was odd, but in terms of what needs to be done, accuracy, clarity of mind, he was miles ahead of the other competitors. So I sit here and wish him well on behalf of all those people who are represent one way or another, including my members of the family. Two, is that in the event that, one of the things I have heard people say, and especially those who are in the ODM zones, there is divided. There are those who are saying if he wins, it is good because some people he has always blessed with seats will now have to fight with other agencies. Of course, there are also those who are saying we want him to lose, because if he loses, then he comes back and he continues blessing us. So these are all things that you gather from the social media. Yeah. But the reality of it is that if he is within the country, he will impact on the political scene very heavily. Sure. If he is outside, it may be reduced, but you can never wish away Baba. Whether he is there or here, he will still influence the direction some politics takes, and especially in his the region that he dominates. And you can see that there are people who have copied his ideas, you know. For you to get a ticket in some areas, you will need to be a person who doesn't insult Baba. To be a person who is, whom shares his ideals. A person he can trust. Okay. Kwa hivyo hata kutembea kwake peke yake saa zingine unatoka na tikiti. And I think that is what is Ligiji is copying. Sababu kutembea kwa Munyoro, mimi naona kama yeye anatafuta bododogo kule. Ukiingia huko na wewe mko sawa unatoka na kiti. Anajaribu. But that may be very difficult for the mountain because it is something that is frowned upon. Okay. People at the mountain really want to cast a vote and decide who is themselves. My reader. Who is my reader? And who am I going to hold account? Directly. Okay. And if you seem to be wanting to tell them who their reader will be, you go different ways. And as in Jubilee, I believe that nominations must be decided by the people. Everything this time loud must be decided by the people. Right. There's nothing like kuwekelea mkono, like the Maasais do when they are greetings. Hakuna hiyo maneno. Okay. Not all right. And it's not a good thing for us as a country, given where we are and where we would want to go. Okay. Yes.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah Kioni. We appreciate your input and your time right here. Definitely will foresee the political tectonic shifts in the next couple of days, bearing in mind.
Next week will be something in this country.
Well, we'll be here to...
I can't wait to... Unaangalia tu hata mimi nitakuwa nikiangalia.
Hautaona skuma behind the scenes.
Unaangalia msiagano.
Okay. Yes. Asante sana. We appreciate your input. Secretary General of the Jubilee Party, Jeremiah Kioni, had joined us in studio. So we'll wait and see how the political cards will play out in the next couple of days.